He really wants to kill casters more than anything else because they die the easiest. You always want to do that with Orc. Always focus on the army. Don't focus on the heroes because the benefit you get out of Orc is your units are very strong and you can pick up the opponent's units very easily. So always make sure you do that, and you don't focus heroes unless they happen to teleport and you can kill them with a surround. Never go into a big battle where you both have teleports and focus their hero, because it's pointless. You'll lose units and they'll just teleport and they get experience and you get no experience. It's bad. It's just a bad deal. So never do that. Anyway, so the game now is pretty much into the late game. Both players have pretty much the units they want. In order to counter Grubby's Wind Riders, Sky's making some Dragon Hawks, and he's going back for another push on Grubby. And one thing I've noticed Grubby does is he always has a mana pot on his Thorn Chieftain, so he can get more Chain Wave out. So yeah, always try and get a pot if you have the money. Obviously, don't buy pots before units. It's one of those extra things. So here, Grubby fights a pretty good battle. Chain Wave owns the casters because they got it out front, and that's never good for you if your casters are out front and you're human. So they fight here. Grubby goes straight for the back lines, and he focuses his casters for those Wind Riders, and look how fast those units die to that insane Wind Rider damage. Sky, however, has got Dragonhawk Rider, which is a pretty good counter to Wind Riders. Very good counter, actually, and immobilizes one as well as killing it. So if you see your opponents going a Wind Rider mix as human, always get Dragonhawks. That's why I like to go Raiders now. Raider, Grunt, Shaman. But that's just me. Okay, now Grubby is kind of lost the battle, but he's putting up an X-Bow. So hopefully that can get up for him. And he has a food advantage, but his opponent has lots of various summons and stuff, and he doesn't have the mana for Purge. So really, as far as food goes, he's actually behind. So he surrounds the Beastmaster, and here he can kill it because it has no TP on it, and it got out front. So that's a good way of killing heroes. But if it had a teleport, he wouldn't have done that. Anyway, so now he has enough for Purge on his Shaman, and he purges pretty much all of the units away. And all of a sudden, Sky goes from having a very large army to a very small army. Purge as well as the Beastmaster dying, pretty much with the reason that happened. And now Grubby pretty much has the win here because he has an X-Bow coming, and he won this battle, and his opponent does not have an X-Bow. And with mass casters, human really isn't going to X-Bow usually. They're probably just going to try to own you too. So an X-Bow usually isn't the best idea, but in a case like that, it's pretty good from the aspect that you will get more gold than them, and you just won a couple of battles, so they probably can't push you anyway. So it might probably be a good idea in cases like that. But if you lose a battle, don't X-Bow because you need to have the money for the units next time. Anyway, so Grubby has level 5 Farseer, so that means wolf harassing on the peasants. It's always a great idea with wolves. I actually would rather go for the wood peasants because they stay still and they won't be invulnerable for a little bit. And I definitely wouldn't do this. He basically just attacks random units that can be healed anyway, and that gives his opponent free experience. I don't know what that is. But he notices his Thorn Chieftain is extremely close to level 5, and you always want to level up when you're close to leveling. So you can have your next level move, especially on the odd numbers 1, 3, and 5, because then your primary move will get a whole level better, which is great. Now Grubby has level 3 Chain Wave, so ground or casters in general really are no longer a problem, because he does 200 instant damage from Thorn Chieftain, 125 from the Farseer. So basically, if he uses Chain Wave, that would kill a Sorceress. 200 plus 125, that means dead Sorceress. So Chain Wave is pretty good at this point in the game. Especially I don't know, in some occasions it's kind of good to get level 3 Chain Lightning over wolves, because wolves can be dispelled in battle. So against priests and destroyers and night elves with dryads or if they bring wisps to the battle, they can be easily dispelled, whereas chain lightning can't be. So sometimes you might want to do that, and then chain lightning will kill a few more casters. It's up to you though. But anyway, Sky makes another push attempt here. When you have all those summons, you can really make pushes pretty easily, because when you think about it like this, each one of those summons, like the water elementals and the Grubbies, are a lot better than say a shaman. I mean a rifleman. But anyway, he uses bats and he kills the 2 dragon hawks, so that they can't snare or whatever it's called, the Wind Riders. And he unfortunately gets his farce here a little too out front, so takes some extra damage. But with a speed roll, he saves it pretty easy. And with Orc, with the Orc, always buy speed scrolls whenever you can, because the thing about speed scrolls is they're 50 gold. So if you can save like a peon or a grunt or anything you possibly can save, it's worth it. So just buy those like crazy. Like always have like 1 or 2 on your heroes. I know you can't use 2 at a time because of cooldown and it's stupid anyway, but you always just want to have those on your heroes so you can use them. Here we come into the final battle, and you're gonna watch Chainwave own. He has 300. See that swordfish? No one even touched it except for Chain Lightning and Wave, and it killed it. So now he purges the summons, and he has Chain Wave used on the casters together, and Sky brought a speed scroll, and that's an essential whenever you play human against Orc, is to have speed scrolls. But it's just gonna own him even more, and he has a mana pot, so he can get 5 chain waves, and that's 1,000 damage. Your units can't take that. Your units can't take 1,000 damage each. That's just too much. That really is. So now Chain Lightning kills the Beastmaster. This guy says good game. The little smiley. Grubby says good game. Sky's gone, but Grubby kills all the units still. And now Grubby leaves. So that's pretty much how you have to do it. That's how you have to beat a 2-2 push, as well as beating human in general is a good chain wave and a good unit mix. Either Grunt, Shaman, Wind Rider, such as Grubby does, but I would extremely recommend Grunt, Shaman, Raider, and what I do for that is I get an extra peon before I attack, and I get a Bestiary and a Spirit Lodge at the same time, and I get the Grunt upgrade, and then I pump Raiders and Shaman, and I get their upgrades, and I get a couple extra Grunts as well. And then at 50 food, I don't put up a war mill or anything for upgrades, because you don't need it. You just need more units. So I just keep pumping units, pretty much until very late in the game, which I'll get some air. But Raiders counter the air because they can bring it to the ground, so it's actually a pretty good unit mix as opposed to Math, Grunt, and Shaman, which I used to do, but then again, I used to be horrible versus human. Like, I lost like almost every game versus human. But I realized you just have to play differently than any other matchups. Like with Night Elf, you have to play Blade Master, hit and run, kill some units. With your Blade Master, try and get an advantage. With an Orc Mirror, you're just trying to outlevel your opponent. As with any mirror, you're just trying to outlevel your opponent and get good items, because that's the distinguishing factor, because you're probably getting the same units. Although I would always get the Kodo first before Raiders because of the aura and eating ability. Versus Undead, it depends on what they do, but usually you're going to want to mass air because of Destroyer. And then versus Human, it's just like you're just trying to own all of their units in their army with Chain Wave and just pick them off. After you use Chain Wave, you just want to pick them off, each one of them, so you kill all their army. Because each one of those units has almost no defense. They have 0 armor. I mean, they have heal and they have scrolls and they have, defense scroll and healing scroll, but that doesn't keep them alive forever. Especially with 5 chain waves, or 5 waves you get from the Torn Chieftain, especially with a mana pot. You get 5, and that's just too much damage, especially at level 5. So that pretty much sums up Human vs Orc. Definitely want Shaman for the Purge ability and the Lightning Shield ability. You don't want Lust. Do not get Lust. Okay, don't tech and get Lust. That's a no-no. Because if they have Spellbreakers, then they have Lust, and they'll always have Dispel anyway. So Lust isn't a good idea. So you don't want to do that. Yeah, don't tech and get Torn or anything. and don't get pretty much everything from the beast tree is good against human. Don't get a Kodo early. If you get a Kodo, get it later on. I mean, yeah, it does extra damage, but it's not exactly great. The only good thing about it is you get to eat a unit. So it's pretty good against bigger units like Spellbreakers or whatever. And Riflemen, I guess. So that's pretty much how you own your opponents in 1 vs 1 Orc vs Human. The only thing I can say for the Human is you have to outlevel the Orc and do a pretty good job versus their harass. Make sure you don't try not to lose anything. Always make sure you have an Arcane Tower. I don't know why Sky got a Guard Tower. More damage output probably, but I think Arcane Towers are way better against Wolves. And plus you don't have to get the early Lumber Mill, so I don't know. It's up to you. So that's gonna pretty much sum up the audio. I just wanted to tell you guys that in Cal next week, this coming week, Cal is a league for Counter-Strike or Warcraft or whatever. It has a bunch of different divisions. I'm going to be playing versus Freak. Actually, by the time the audio comes out, I don't know if it'll already have happened, but I'm going to be versing Freak, and we're going to see who wins. And whoever wins might get to play Yurik, so all the staff are eliminating each other in Cal League. And then the other side of the brackets has no one we know. So, pretty even distribution by the admins there. But it's all good. It's all for fun. So that brings me to the conclusion of my audio. I hope you had a good time. I'm glad I can help you guys where I can. And keep listening to my audios and go sign my staff profile. So that's it. Thanks for listening. This is Tournament Rider signing out.